Game 2. And yeah, we're going to see, I guess, things like the Azir, how these prios change, and see what Top Esports wants to elect for on this blue side.
Yeah, I mean, great to see us getting right back into the thick of things. It's kind of the one little OP thing that happens when we end up having only the one stream on ourselves, and we'll see how it ends up kind of going. WE now still on the red side. They will be kind of prioritizing the same kind of bans, and honestly, the Ahri wasn't a bad pickup for Rookie. I do think that maybe they need to pick up an earlier jungler, something like the Wukong or potentially the Viego has a little bit more power here. But again, I was just about to say, for WE, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So pick the Azir. I wouldn't even mind to see them pick up the Cassante as well. Just kind of really focus in on those topside picks.
So, Xi'an, we didn't get to see pick ban live in Game 1, but so far it is the exact same. Like, bans in the same order, picks in the same order. If they choose to lock in Azir here, Azir Poppy was their first game red side rotation. So I'm curious if they followed up, or maybe if they do opt into turning towards something like Cassante even earlier, and like feeling like there might be a bit of higher priority on that, especially after how domineering Cube was on that pick, and Wayward not able to find the impact on the Ornn or another tank. So doesn't look like they're going to do that just yet, and they are just going to follow. Both teams going to follow same suit as Game 1.
Yeah, look, it wasn't a draft diff, it was an execution diff for the moment for Top Esports. Honestly, I do prefer if they go for the Xayah over Khan. Give Mark something he can have a little bit more emphasis on. Give him something that can kind of give Jackie Love that little extra bit of oomph, and they are going to go that way. I am annoyed that they didn't go Xayah Rakan and went Rakan Xayah, because it makes the portraits look a little bit more funky, but that's just an aesthetic thing for me. And now for WE, see what they want to try and answer in here with. I wouldn't mind to see them go straight back to Cassante, let bot lane take a couple of hits. Imagine the Aphelios will be banned, and maybe even something like the Jinx, and just see, again, there's only so much you can ban here on the side of Top Esports. Yeah, get the Cassante. Your top side was solid in Game 1.
Yeah, so now for WE, you would probably expect, I wonder if they'll go towards like top or jungle. Can bin out something like a Gwen if you want to like prevent any like carry options coming out from Wayward. I think it's like one of his better champions. Or you can just try and focus down jungle once again. In Game 1, they banned away the Wukong. TN didn't have the best time on the Kha'Zix, but if you really did just want to double down, especially now Top Esports have picked up more engage in the bot lane and brought up the Rakan, like that definitely supplements more damage coming out from the jungle even better.
Now we get to see some more bans being put on the top side. And again, we're seeing this little kind of weak link being put into that top side. Wayward not having the same kind of priority. I would love to see them ban away the Malphite as well. Take away that guaranteed engage and force them back onto something that has to have a, it just has a worse time of it. Again, we've kind of seen now that it used to be the Xi'an into the Cassante, and we've definitively kind of learned that no one wants to play the Xi'an into the Cassante anymore. He's just too powerful on this champion, and on this champion in general is just too powerful into such an easy tank to kill.
Yeah, I also think it's just so hard playing into the amount of like peel that WE's composition does bring. I wonder if they just end up going towards Varus again. It would fall in line with their composition. This would give them, I'd say, a little bit more like fighting power in terms of Aphelios' first item, big Moonlight Vigils, being able to like go in and set up plays. More DPS as well. We've definitely seen things like the Jinx fall off, so if they wanted to go for a long-range option, I would expect it to follow suit of Game 1.
No Nautilus ban either. Prioritizing the Milio. The Lulu is there as well. Again, like we said, the Lulu and all the different enchanter things have taken a massive nerf on 13-12. Getting my numbers mixed up. And we'll see what way I want to work this one. I would much prefer to see this. Yes, thank you so much, TN. Getting yourself onto something that has a lot more engage and building up a much more cohesive team comp that doesn't need to rely on early setup is a much, much safer position for Top Esports to put themselves.
And if they lock in the Gnar, which they do, I think it makes them more well-rounded, right? You still have the ability to play for picks out of things like the Ahri and the Rakan to play a bit aggressively in that early game. We also cemented having a better team fight with bigger frontline like the Sejuani, where we're going to be able to play off on flanks, and now Mark playing a role in that engage. Ooh, though, this would be fun. This would be an Iwandi special, and it would even fit their comp of, like, again, playing far back, really playing the range games. I still think it kind of went better. I guess you want Janna to enable more of a hyper carry. I was going to say the Varus would play into the poke better, but now you have the disengage coming out from the Janna, the Poppy, the Azir, while the Azir to be as big as possible. And I feel like once again with the fact that WE have kind of hard indexed into a specialty with their composition, it's going to make the game very hard for TES to be able to play out without big early picks coming out from people like Rookie with Mark.
And the thing is, well, Iwandi's already played this twice this season. He's 1-on-1 at the moment. I'm not quite sure if he's the only person to play it, but this is something that he's very, very comfortable with and just bringing out quite a few times. So curious to see how these teams are kind of, you know, dealing with it. Yeah, he's actually the only person to have played it so far this split in a win and a loss. It was once against the Rakan, and that was a win, and once against the Blitzcrank, and that was a loss. So we'll see how he's able to kind of do it. But again, the disengage that the Janna gives you and the protection it's able to kind of facilitate for something like the Azir and the Aphelios is kind of second to none. Just the shielding, the tornadoes, the monsoons, so many things that can just help you and keep your DPSs doing DPS.
And again, just so many threats on the side of top esports to really stop from coming through. And I'm just happy to see that they've pretty much aligned the amount of disengage and zone control necessary to be able to deal with it. So we're going to be looking at Rookie. We're going to be looking at Wayward too, if he's able to win out at all in that 1v1, to be able to get TS adjusted early to then be able to aggressively use this Ahri in the mid game.
We're going to jump straight onto the Rift. No breaks for you or me. We are back live here in Xi'an for WE versus Top Esports. WE having themselves home advantage and a home crowd, giving them that 1-0 start. And is around here, as is Shanks. And now Mark not going to get knocked up here. That was close, but I will say without the Poppy being there and available, it makes it a little bit more unlikely that he was going to be caught up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wouldn't have been forced to flash or anything. I think at worst would have been forced to just recall and come right back to lane and, you know, maybe allow WE to keep control over that bot side. Looks like Rookie wants to stick around to try to challenge this.
He's looking to do something here. Maybe thinking there was a little bit more kind of shenanigans happening, but now that they spot him out, they're just kind of walking themselves away. And I think it just comes down to the fact that the Zyra Khan is very good at the start of the game, but it needs a little bit more time and needs a little bit more kind of this needs a little bit more pressure. If you get behind them and you're able to kind of push them back in the Zyra and the Rakan without the feather pullback and the knockup of the Rakan, they are very susceptible to getting killed just straight up.
Yeah, I mean, right, it's going to be a battle of, like, looking for all lanes, trying to make sure that Iwandi and Hope aren't able to whittle you too low. So that's why Mark posturing so far forward with an aggressive position. And yeah, like we said, trying to find these all-ins in bot side really open up for Rookie, and if Wayward can win on the 1v1, pretty much aligning with Top Esports identity over the years. You need to see a good performance out from these players in lane before they're usually able to transition into anything. Like their team macro and transferring pressure from lane to lane, that's never through any iteration been TS's strong suit.
No. Absolutely not. It's always been power. You know, it's always been just these kind of names for Top Esports back with Knight. And still weird to me not seeing Knight on this roster. In case none of you know, the actual symbol of Top Esports is built off of Knight. Literally a Knight's helmet. They were kind of using him as a franchise player for so long. And then JDG swooped in, took him out, and now Knight's a MSI champion. Do with that information what you will.
I was gonna say, you know, we don't say how JDG swooped in. I won't, you know, we don't know how many zeros the check had.
We don't know.
Or how
nice
the dinner was.
Look, I'm not gonna say anything. All right, people, you gotta get that bag. Get that bag. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. You know what? More power to you. You want to get that? Go for it. But I think that for Top Esports, they brought in Rookie, which I think for a lot of people was, at worst, a side grade for Knight, given the history of this guy, the world champion, of course, but not really coming together as cohesively or as amazingly as we expect them to be. We expected them to be right up there with JDG, and for the moment, they are still figuring out who they are. I will say that most recent series, they have gotten a lot better at figuring out how they want to play and how they want to kind of play it, who they want to play around. But so far this game, it's been WE who've been able to kind of control them within a very kind of tempered environment and tempo.
I still think Tien to me always be a defining piece for whatever roster he's on, since he is so, like, he is the epitome of, like, can just carry your team, or like we've seen at some of his Worlds performances, right? Like, be the thing that really brings you down. And he's always looked the most comfortable when he's aggressively playing an enemy jungle. You think back to, like, FPX days, enabling him and making their way down to bot side. And you don't see it as much on TS, but I need to pause because Hung looking for a bit of an aggressive play of his own.
There's Mega Gnar. They're probably just going to wait a couple of seconds here for Wayward to maybe hop away. Crunch is down. If he gets this knockback, they're actually going to go for it anyway. There's the hop coming in. They're going to see if they get the flash out of him. They will. Good respect from Wayward, but feel like that was just a pretty easy kind of, you know, non-committal gank to come in. We will see a nice disengage there from Iwandi, and this is why I was so excited to see the Janna. This is very smart drafting coming out here. Gravitum comes out, but there's not going to be much else out of it, but the Janna just stops all of what top esports want to do. You think of a Gnar, a Sejuani, a Rakan, all trying to jump in onto your face. One good ultimate means that everything's disengaged.
Look, Xi'an, we got kind of baited. We got kind of baited by the OMG series earlier. It seems like we're going to be back to what we've always expected. We're going to take it more chill. Hong, we know he's not going to do anything. Tien, you're not going to do anything either. No bloodshed's going to occur. And, yeah, cool, Raptors, woohoo, look at them go, Xi'an.
Get your chicken nuggets. Oh, smite, that was confirmed by Tien.
Yeah, Tien being able to pick that up.
They're still going and being dummies about it. Taking a lot of damage, but shall not be going down. And that's just going to be the Raptors for nothing. But it does mean that Iwandi can go push in, get a couple of different procs extra on his support item. And Jackie Love gets a reset afterwards.
You know, this is the part where we talk about something else. You told me you were rewatching One Piece.
I am rewatching One Piece. I stopped after... I won't lie, I stopped after the Doflamingo arc because I was real mad. Doflamingo was like one of my favorite villains of the entire thing, and I feel like they kind of didn't do him justice, if I'm being totally honest.
You better not spoil. There's tons of people who are behind as well.
I know. No spoilers.
I don't know if it should count as spoilers when, you know, it is so far in.
I was gonna say it's probably that arc came out like maybe 4 years ago, I think. Like it feels like I'm in the territory of it, but I'm trying to rewatch it now. I got some new flatmates, and they hadn't watched it, so we're all watching it together. We're watching it without filler on a website called One Pace. It's very cool.
I feel like I betrayed you because I'm actually started watching non-anime. I'm actually watching Suits for the first time.
Oh, great show though. Great show.
It's been a banger. I'm like 3 seasons in, and I'm happy. Is Tien? Are you gonna give us something?
Janna. Okay, I told you, Janna. There's nothing you can do. But yeah, I'm very excited to watch all this.
I regret not watching Suits for so long. Sorry to interrupt you, but
not at all, man. Like, I mean, like Suits is one of those shows that like I feel like it was popular to kind of hate on it for a bit because everyone was talking about it, and it was like, oh, it's too cool now. I don't want to watch it. But now it's kind of like died down again, and you can kind of appreciate how just genuinely funny and good it is. It's a great show.
You know, I was actually that hipster as well. Like things like Game of Thrones. I've never seen Game of Thrones. Never seen it. Was too much of a hipster.
I watched season 1 and was like, this isn't great. And there was about 3 seasons out at that point. And then, I didn't think it was like,
flamed.
I know I'm gonna get flamed, but like I mean like I'm just like that's not my style. I love like gothic horror and stuff like that. Like if I was to say a setting that I would love as a fantasy kind of thing, it would be like Bloodborne. I love that kind of gothic horror kind of stuff. It's very cool. That's my vibe. So like fair enough, I wasn't super into it, but then like people kept saying like no. Gets much better in season 2, and I'm like, if I have to watch 2 seasons before it gets good, that's not a great thing to do, you know. That's how I feel about it. I'm sure it's still great. Obviously, people are very mad about the ending, but you know, other than that, you know, wasn't it George R.R. Martin did the lore for Elden Ring? That's been fun. I'm super excited for that DLC. I don't know why you're getting excited. Get excited for Elden Ring DLC.
I just want to believe, Xi'an. I just want to believe.
You just want to believe.
You know what?
It's not gonna happen.
Let's see who's scheduled on WE's next series.
They have quite a few actually. They've got quite the gauntlet to come up against, if I'm being totally honest. And speaking of which, again, not really going to see much else happening on this bot side. It's just too easy to disengage. The Rift Herald will be confirmed, and I feel like WE know that it is happening right now. And they're just going to try and move in here.
We're going to will this one. We're going to will this one. We're going to will this one. He's not going to go for Krugs. Mark and Jackie Love, they're going to turn this. They're going to look for the engage. Mark, you are going to get in there. You're going to take Hung down. You're going to remind us all why you were paired alongside Jackie Love. Xi'an's going to give some awesome call that's like, Jackie! And then, you know, we're going to go forward.
Okay, I'm waiting for you. If Jackie Love gets towards the pen, I have to give you the pen to. If
I want it to be. I want you to call it like Jackie Chan Adventures.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can. First blood goes over to top Esports as Xi'an was in the right place at the right time. Q wanted to go for the 1v1. Wasn't able to happen. And again, just really good movement here from Xi'an to kind of recognize, look, you know, there's nobody going to be coming up to help him here. And that's just a great turnaround from the side of top Esports.
TES finally get something going. 9 minutes in. They even have a Herald. Aren't going to opt into using it. As we actually take stock of the game again, you don't even really have like ultimate many plates down elsewhere. So I'd say no obvious place to set it up. Now that we're having things like Azir kind of show their face back into the meta, I'm always a big fan of using it mid because it can be quite hard to take down that tier 1 mid when you have such like heavy wave clear coming through.
This is a couple of minions going down as well. The Rift Herald still in the back pocket, so maybe he wants to try and throw it towards that mid lane and potentially at that dragon fight, but not going to really have much time to kind of use it, as we are going to see Hope being a little bit cheeky here with his bot lane, and yeah, he's going to have to leave that cannon to die because didn't have support, so if he gets engaged on there, he is just dead. So really unfortunate there for the side of the WE bot lane, but all this is not happening. Slowly but surely, we're getting small little kind of increments of CS leads pretty much across the board here for top Esports. Top lane, mid lane, jungle, all getting themselves about 7 or 8 or so ahead, and that's equaling out, including that first blood, to about a 1,200 gold lead, if a little bit more.
Up to a bunch of gold. You've gotten 1 plate down in the mid lane for Rookie. Again, I'd expect Xi'an to be looking towards this one once again soon, but we have this bot side littered with wards, and that's from, you know, the kind of pseudo cross map we saw come out before. Now Hung's going to be ready for this.
He's going to be very ready for this. Going to jump on the Xi'an just to kind of dissuade. And again, like I said, WE love to play the game slow. They want to get up to 2, 3 items, and that's when they start to ramp up their pace. And for top Esports, it does feel like it's the same thing happened in the first game. They're getting a little bit impatient. They get a little bit kind of overzealous to make something happen. It can bite them in the butt if they don't execute on it perfectly.
We need to see them get a little bit more impatient. Like I want to see them Gordon Ramsay in someone else's restaurant or in Hell's Kitchen or, you know, one of those. I want to see them get Gordon Ramsay at levels of agitated and then just go in, call WE some kind of sandwich, and then bam.
What kind of sandwich are you? Boom, leaves, no explanation.
Pastrami on rye.
Oh, Shanks gonna use his ultimate there just to disengage, but Rookie can go straight back over, and that's just gonna be an ult for an ult, an eye for an eye. Do you know most of those restaurants he does in Kitchen Nightmares, even though he like helps them invest in them? Oh, gonna stop myself as they're gonna go for a flash away by Hope, but that's not gonna help him out that much. Wayward is here, looking to see if he can engage. He's almost there, gets the 2-man, but eventually gets knocked backwards. There's gonna be the Monsoon to try and re-engage though. And that's going to be Shanks coming in here with the TP. They're going to try and jump onto Mark. The Steadfast Presence stops you in your tracks, but do they have the damage? They do not. Everyone finding themselves up in the bot side, but nobody coming back out with any kind of kills.
No kills going across. Who would have thought? But we do have Rift Herald going out mid, kind of like we projected earlier on, and even a bit of a trap play being set up by TES with Xi'an waiting in the wings with the Rookie not anywhere nearby. It's not reminiscent to like what FPX used to do, of where Duenby would also be in the other brush and you instantly burst someone out. So WE going to keep up with their river control.
They come in, see what they want to try and work for here. 20 seconds till the dragon spawns. A lot was expended in that bot side, specifically the ultimates and summoners of the AD carries. That is what I'm looking for right now in terms of how the next fight could potentially file out with that Everfrost being built up there for Rookie. He's feeling a lot more confident to kind of push in and be aggressive against some of those WE members.
You know, Shane, this would have been a great game for the Ivern to come out. You know, we could have talked about Ivern or maybe the Sivir, and we could have talked about the Sivir. We could have just had loads of deep intellectual conversations because both of us very in-depth Ivern knowledge. Missed opportunity.
Yes, that champion I've definitely played 100%. Have one single game of Ivern.
Was it a win?
It was a practice tool. So
not even a game.
No, it wasn't even a game. It was practice tool, which is down right now, not working. But yeah, no, I play practice tool when new champions come out for like 3 or 4 hours just to like learn how they function. That's generally what I do. That's what I found that was the best way for me to figure stuff out. And speaking of figuring stuff out, WWE got to figure out how they're going to try and gain priority over this bot side. It looks like they're going to use Shanks' priority from mid to move him down. Still no completed item. Ooh, steadfast presence into the knock into the wall. They're going to bring him all the way back. Tien flashes the moonlight visual, the knock up from the tornado. Tien is tanky, and he's got the mark to help him out as well. The feathers will fly, and they're almost taking out Shanks. How the hell does he survive? That ultimate was huge. Rookie looking for the ultimate, but Janna gonna stop him in his tracks, actually taking a fair chunk of damage on the backside of this. And while that was all happening, Cube finally found his 1v1 and got the kill in top lane.
If it wasn't for Cube,
Oh,
okay, Mark.
Never mind, there's the monsoon. I talked about the disengage. Now you don't have a way to try and stop this one. Tien getting taken so low, not quite going down. One more auto will do it, and hope is just that for WE. Saved by Iwandi on the Janna, and they do come out with the kill, the prize they looked for all those minutes ago.
Thank you, WE, for getting the job done. Cube, he gets 5 stars because he was the first one to get the mission achieved, finding that first kill. And then, yeah, us seeing the amount of tools that WE has, despite the fact that Mark and Jackie Love should have some great engages. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to deal with the Janna. And this is why Iwandi is always such a nuisance. That he could bring this one out, round out a comp that has, again, the Azir, the Pompey so well to make sure that nothing goes over. And we're actually going to replay what happened on top side. Looks like Wayward just trying to make it hard for Cube to be able to walk back in and contest the wave. But Cube feels fine going through the contest. All out comes through, able to dash in. And with Hop being down, no flash, Wayward is just stuck at the mercy of Cube. Very overzealous for him to try to punish Cube's like entry into a neutral wave state.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Gnar into the K'Sante. Yes, the Gnar can just kind of keep himself safe, but in the mini Gnar form, if you get caught without your flash mid-hop, you're screwed. You just are such a small child of a Yordle. You do come back into live, 2 dragons into the good for WE, a Mountain Soul. Again, another exceptional soul to be able to give over here for the side of WE. Top Esports would love to deny it. It does feel like WE are kind of, again, just kind of controlling the tempo and the pace. And I have to give Iwandi massive props for this Janna pick. It just feels like it's just completely negating everything Top Esports want to do.
Yeah, I love that you're saying controlling the pace because this really is the pace that WE have shown they like to play at. We usually have at least one team that is a bit kind of more methodical in terms of how they want to play, fine with isolated laning phases for a bit longer, wait for big objectives and teamfight around it. Remember it was RA in 2021. Last year, EDG had points of the year where they had hints of that. And this split, it is all about kind of WE being fine at that pace. And if you can't find a way to crack open it, it's going to be rough, but it becomes even harder with things like Azir coming back into the fold, Poppy being even more of a staple, and Janna. I mean, Janna isn't, right? Janna is here because of Iwandi, but also her being one of the enchanters that hasn't been hit since she isn't in the meta, I think feels quite nice.
Yeah, and I think this is something that is always so beautifully unique to the LPL. It feels like because we have so many teams and so many players, like you just end up in a situation where you kind of end up with just so many unique champions, unique kind of pocket picks that come out and help you out for your team. So this Iwandi Janna is very much something that he's kind of pocket picked it into himself for this split. Kind of picked it up twice. The only person in the LPL picking it. No one else, I believe, really in any of the major regions is actually picking it up at all. And it just gives WE more depth, more options to go for when they have, you know, again, very meta comp that Top Esports have built for themselves to engage. They have disengage.
And we saw exactly how that one worked, even though Shanks able to dodge out. Crown, though, is procced. He might be in a lot of danger, though, because look at the minimap and where the forces of WE are. Kind of great timing by him to back off. I guess he did have... He actually has a bunch of wards around bot side, Tribush, and outside of Dragon Pit. So my apologies, Shanks. I was kind of impressed but questioning your regression.
I was unfamiliar with your game.
Exactly.
Well,
he might be
Shanks,
unfamiliar with Top Esports game.
Well,
I guess he must have
He's going to make him familiar. He's going to make him familiar. There's a flash. Going to ult them all out as well, but the charm is still good for the moment. TP immediately by the K'Sante. It's a lot of ultimates burnt there from the side of Top Esports, but they haven't lost any summoners, and losing the flash off of the Azir is still decent, but they got to convert it into something in the next few minutes.
We're going to see if they could. I mean, hell, Dragon coming up in a minute and a half. That might just be the way to do it. And kind of taking stock of where we are at with items. Do, of course, have... Ooh, no, a pick onto Iwandi might finally happen.
Nice little flash away. Yeah, it's Janna, man. No interactions, no way. Jose, are you getting in on top of this? And we are going to see a TP coming in, though. The Gnar almost mega, and Cube and Hang in a little bit of trouble. They will have the ultimate available for the Poppy. Does he want to try and go for it right now? He does! Oh, perfectly in the air. That hop was a little bigger than the Gnar probably intended, but I mean, great disengaging here from WE. They're not allowing top esports to do what they want to do.
WE are the ultimate pacifists. There they are, sitting at the highest peak of the highest mountain. It is their temple. No form of life goes harmed. The insects, the plants, everything just gets to survive. And you know what? Maybe we need some wholesome vibes in the LPL that WE is giving us. Because like you said, Wayward came in. He had a great angle. You're going to be able to get the pinch down. Goes out of vision, but comes right back in with a Cassante jumping in. And my God, that was like pixel perfect. Oh, what a sad jump for Wayward.
Well, bot lane turret does get traded back. We will see Shirley now here, but Mark kind of caught out, nowhere to go, all out, dead. Nothing he can do about that one here, and that's just before Dragon. We're seeing again and again more priority from WE around these Dragons because they know that's where the ring condition can be.
And right, huge numbers advantage. Rookie's up towards topside. Shuri's TP, but there should be no way unless Hope gives it to them.
I mean, Hope was very fancy with the feet there to make sure he didn't get caught out. And that's going to be sole point at 20.5 minutes. That is huge here for WE. And again, a Mountain Soul to stop any of the bursts from Rookie, to stop anyone from really having a chance of taking down these tanks. I mean, this is perfect for WE. They're just kind of mind controlling top esports into whatever the hell they want. They know they can't make a fight.
Xi'an, do you remember 30 minutes ago when I called out fans for overreacting to TES losing? I am sorry. I am joining the overreaction because
haters gonna hate, and you've got yourself a new leader.
yeah, exactly. We're jumping ship. I don't care. I don't need to be ideologically like consistent in terms of my beliefs here. TES, like again, WE are just kind of like kudos to them. They're having a lot of great disengages, but even just them coming in with some of their drafts, I feel like it automatically looks so hard to break kind of what WE are doing. And this is 2 games of top esports getting to play on blue side. The side that people do view as stronger, that we saw in the last series have so much presence.
I mean, the thing is, I'm glad you brought up the last series and the fact that blue side was kind of such a big thing, because if you remember in the last series, Tristana was the power pick. Tristana seems to be like the big pick right now on this patch from the very small sample size we have here in the LPL. Top esports banned it. Top esports do not feel comfortable taking the Tristana themselves, either for Rookie or Jackie Love. And that's a bit of a problem, because if you're now taking something like, you know, potentially like the Yuumi and the Zeri back on old in the red side now onto the blue side, you're effectively losing a ban. The power that the blue side has just doesn't exist.
No, and you're right. I mean, that could have been changed with something like an Azir or a Poppy coming through and really denying. I think especially the Azir, I'd love that band against WE for, again, just what Shanks is able to do. He's only picked it up once before the series today, but you think back throughout Shanks' career, his Azir incredibly clean. You know, I know Cassiopeia is still the first champion that comes to mind with Shanks because that is his niche pocket pick that he's able to bring out, but still, this one, WE are going to start being able to put fear into their opponents once again, with Shanks being able to just give so much control. And hell, now we're actually finally getting to see the benefits of bringing Cube into the roster, right? Because earlier in the split, it was very hard when they were playing against lower tier competition, and Cube looked fine, but didn't need to have a big impact. Today, I mean, I would have told you, like, Cube has been playing better than Wayward coming in, but I think Cube in this series, even in this game where he's, like, down, we saw in Game 1 he had a massive impact. And we still haven't even gotten to the team fighting phase where, once again, the Cassante is going to probably be able to pop off.
I mean, it's just so difficult to really see how this can really work here for the side of top esports. Like, team fights don't really go in your favor. You'd have to maybe look, as you mentioned it quite a few times when we get into these game states. It does come down to kind of a fog of war play, a brush play, to see if you can go something like this, where Xi'an and Mark kind of find themselves in a little pocket of unseen vision and they move around the map and see if they can maybe go for something in mid. But with Hang and Iwandi there, that's a very difficult guy to try and catch out here. They will jump in on top of him. There's going to be the cleanse. They're going to get himself caught around, and this Janna and Poppy are too damn strong. Cube TP'd in, Shanks joined in on the side of it. And again, like, that's again, they went on the fog of war, they tried it, but into the Janna and the Poppy, it's just impossible.
They aren't doing anything. They are not able to get in there. I guess they did blow a few summoners. Cleanse down for Hope, heal down for Iwandi, but Top Esports to blow more summoners. Jackie lost his flash and heal. Like, yeah, it's just now W are going to be able to take advantage even more. And now we are 1 minute, 20 seconds away from Soul coming through. You have such a huge front line in top jungle. Top Esports will have no way of being able to cut through it. And it just feels like we've, again, kudos to W. We might have kind of memed the slow game pace, but they did a great job at like pulling TES in, picking comps that fit it, and then really make Top Esports do like a slow dance compared to like Top Esports wanting to go to like the hottest club and, you know, get a little bit wild. Don't let them do that.
I mean, yeah, straight up. And with the Poppy that being so powerful as well, like Han going into the Locket, that gives more support. He picked up the Balmy Cinder and then basically said, cool, I am now a support, because he's got himself the Chalice of Blessing. He's moving either towards a Redemption or a Mikhail's Blessing. I imagine it might be the Mikhail's Blessing, or the Redemption, just to kind of build that one back. All right, is Redemption a mythic? Yes, it is. So, oh no, it's not. It's not a mythic anymore. It's not a mythic, right? Is it a mythic?
Xi'an, we're starting to get to levels of tiredness where, like, when you ask that question, it's like, what is he talking about? No, Redemption's not a mythic.
Redemption is not a mythic. But therefore, again, going towards that Redemption to build back into this would be huge. Just to kind of, again, extend the fights.
Yeah, would be able to just sustain even more favor for W. And here we are, 1 second. Cube off on a flank. He might get isolated.
I don't know if he's isolated just yet. He's actually trying to get the Mega out of Wayward super early. I really like that play from Cube. Kind of sacrifice his health bar to start the ticking down. No one with really priority in this mid lane. Makes it so much easier now for both these sides to kind of prioritize this. You have to go for this as Top Esports. You cannot let this go down. You cannot give over a mountain soul to WE. You have to fight it. Now the Mininar is down and buried. WE now moving themselves forward. You to have a little bit of time. Mark on a great flank. No flash. Does have a Hex flash. But they will spot him out. They know where he is, and they know exactly his plan. So now they might try and isolate him out. Yep, Shanks goes in on top of him and tries to just make sure he can't go for a fight. Dragon, 4,000 HP, 3,000. There's going to be the Poppy ultimate to come in. It misses, secured by the side of Top Esports, but can they get out with the fight? Ooh, that's a big Moonlight Vigil, and all of a sudden these help bars are looking mighty low. Can Top Esports escape? Flash and a little bit of a Shirelia's battle song does mean they get away, but now can they get back out to the map before this Baron gets taken?
Please, Xi'an, let WE take the Baron. Let WE take the Baron. Top Esports buying another 5 minutes, unless they can convert, is the worst timeline. But we're going to see. Baron comes through. Don't mind the unbiased here as Top Esports going to try and make their way in.
That's going to be Rookie coming in after taking that down top lane turret. 3,000 HP on the Baron. It's going to be secured, you would imagine, in the next second or two. No! Tien
no!
Gets in with the steal, trades his life. But now the Cassante on the backside. Can you take the fight on the back end of this one here? Shanks throws himself in on the Jackie Love, but Jackie Love doesn't go down. Never mind. Finally taken. Tien with the steal keeps Top Esports in the up and up in this game.
They get the Dragon to deny Soul. They steal the Baron. Some members go down, but as Top Esports, you've now flipped the game where you had 0 control to where now you're at a 2K gold lane. You at least have Baron to try to supplement some amount of pressure on the map, and it's not looking as bleak as, honestly, it just was. It just looked like it was over for TES.
This is getting a little bit dicey here for Top Esports. They needed 2 back-to-back confirmed steals. Well, confirmed smites, and Top Esports just get it. And again, it's all Tien. Tien is the only one who can make this happen. Nobody's helping him. And that steadfast presence not quite enough to stop him from getting into the pit.
No, doesn't have that. Doesn't have ulti. Just great smite coming out from Tien, and a player who I'd say is one of the more criticized members of TES, fairly so. It's nice to see him come in with kind of back-to-back good objectives coming on through as you'll have to see the TES fans actually have something to be excited about in a series where both games now, they really just have slowly been burned down. But now kind of looking forward at what they can do with this Baron. I mean, you have some potentials to play around sides, right? Having Rook on the Ahri and Wayward on the Gnar. You're probably going to look more to try to collapse in mid and then, like, find picks like we've seen them do consistently, especially, like, no Hull Breaker on Wayward. You don't really have much opportunities already to actually hit that tier 2 turret. It is still going to rely more on them bringing it together and finding a pick. The problem is, Xi'an, every few minutes now, they're going to have to worry about WE just lucking into one Dragon. it could literally be they have the worst setup every single time, and just one thing goes right, they get their hands on it, now they...
This is the thing, is that, yes, you got the Baron. It's only up for another minute. You're not going to get much else out of it. Sorry, that's just the way the game goes at the moment. But it kind of just brings you back into the game just a little bit. Because, again, the issues for top esports are still there with this composition. How do you get on top of Hope? How do you start a fight? It's all well and good them kind of coming in afterwards and trying to, you know, steal stuff away. But if WE can just, you know, kind of maybe stamp their feet, one, as you mentioned, one smite goes their way, one team fight goes right for them, I just don't see how top esports can actually start and engage without WE kind of walking into them.
Yeah, I can rely a lot on people like Mark and TN. We saw the amount of threat that they were, you know, kind of putting on with like the threats of flanks before being able to pull WE away. We're going to see if maybe some kind of magic can work out, but I feel like WE have been very conscious about warding around their flanks like we saw in that last position, and now with Baron timing out, you're not even going to have the same pressure or prio to be able to keep up. Maybe Rookie backs, he buys a death cap. You're getting closer to numbers where you can try to just outright 100-0 someone like Hope or Shanks. But Hope still has both sums up. Iwandi has the ult, and Shanks flashed down for a little bit longer, but he has the stopwatch.
Yeah, and the thing is as well is that, yes, Cube's a little bit behind. There is a bit of a gold lead here, about 2,500 for top esports, but those 2,500, because it's spread so thinly around so many members of their own team, it means that it's not really that big an advantage. That death cap is going to be huge, but you can see that it's 3 items across the board for top, mid, jungle. These are all coming in 40 seconds now till this dragon spawns. WE are in a position to fight.
Yeah, W trying to get the setup by just TPing the Azir in, maintaining control and posture over the mid wave. And even though we're kind of spelling this very hopeless for TS, what me and you were talking about earlier in the day, like, there's the human element. Mistakes do come out. Even just great plays come through, like what Jackie Love and Mark almost made happen in the bot lane 2v2 earlier with just a quick trigger pull. We're going to see now they're controlling bot wave. Maybe you can start bringing Rookie down from behind, but you're still giving away free gold to the side of WE.
Jackie Love is kind of on his own here. Just drop down the Shrima's legacy on the side of WE. As you can see, Xi'an looking to be aggressive, and this is when the Azir starts to do damage. You can see one auto attack there kind of burning through it. Mark. Yeah, you need to walk away, my dude, and there's no way you can really kind of win. Shanks going to get charmed up. It does have the crown to kind of go for it. They found Rookie and knocked up and killed. While that was happening, Wayward is split pushing on the top side, but you now lost Rookie a lot of your kind of damage to come in. Why are we looking top side just as bot lane went into an absolute fight? Now the 1v1, we come back down towards the bot side. Shanks is a god. He is an emperor and a king. Top esports can do nothing against him, and he has divided them in this fight. WE can barrel mid. They can end the game.
Yeah, even Cube having TP, and he did end up solo killing Wayward. It was a slow burn, but that is exactly how WE likes to play their game. And it's going to lead to them just raising more questions for TES.
We come in wanting answers, we leave with more questions, and this is WE taking a decisive 2-0. Massive win for them, but they got to be able to finish it off. It shouldn't be too hard. These are tanks. These aren't the guys who are going to be threatening your carries. You can ignore them. Hell, you can even take them out. Rookie comes back, but I think it's a little bit too little. Too late. 2-0 to WE.
WE, they come in, they have a game plan, right? When you look at draft, like very clear identity both times, like they almost just ran back the same draft in terms of the top side picks that they brought out, changed the bot lane a little bit. And it's an identity that fits them well. It's something you could tell they look very comfortable. It worked well against the compositions that TES drafted specifically in both games, and TES just looking muted. And I don't know if this is like, again, off the result of JDG, or if WE were another team that we didn't have the best read of, but also could just be the ups and downs, right? Because WE did still lose to TT, but now beating top esports, it shows, you know, maybe their floor can be down there, but their ceiling can also be just as high.
And this is a huge win for WE. We talked about how they started off the season against probably some of the more, actually all, if not all, the more kind of lower down teams currently in the standings.
Yeah.
This week, they go against top esports, LNG, and EDG. With a win against top esports and how LNG played against IG earlier last week, or like later last week, this is a 3-0 angle for this week, which is unheard of at the start of the split. This could be a massive swing for things. They could end up this week at 7-2. That's huge for this roster.
Yeah, that would be monstrous to be able to come through. And their roster that we did a fair bit of hyping up coming into the season. You know, the fact that they already had Hope and Iwandi down in the bot side, and like we got to see what Hope's been able to do on like JDG and EDG in the past. Shanks was the highlight player on WE, so it made sense to keep him around. Hung was kind of the hit or miss when he came in, but has found more stability. And then they upgraded topside. They got rid of BuBu, and they brought in Cube. And Cube had always been that guy who, like, you know, you'd have your S-tier top laners like the 369s and the Bins and these guys, and then Cube would always be like the one step below them. He would never really get destroyed by them, and he would destroy the people under him. So it's nice that we got to see that WE in this series.
Yeah, and again, I'm just filled with very much kind of reminiscent vibes of 2021 summer split WE, the team that was able to make it to playoffs, was able to make a bit of a run, make the regional finals. I just hope that if they do make that run again, it does not end in heartbreak. If they do end up putting down a little bit of a marker here, it definitely feels like they could be able to kind of go a little bit further for themselves, because it's been so long, Lyric. It's been so long since we've seen Team WE internationally.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's been what, season 7, I want to say, off the top of my head when we saw them last
something like that
at an international tournament. So yeah, 4W would be great. I still think it doesn't necessarily look in their favor, but they are definitely still one of the teams. Not only us saying earlier that anything can happen, but just us not having the most information on where they are, just with how sporadically they've been playing. But WE are going to be the team we learn the most about in the next 3 weeks with how often they play. So that one is going to be incredibly fun. And for TES, Matt, I don't even know. This in my mind was like the expected dub. Like, okay, LGD, I thought that was a higher upset chance than I thought WE coming into TES, and it wasn't. And TS, like we said, don't have a very hard schedule left. Like, they do face OMG and BLG, but you look at their next game, they have IG, which you should consider them favorites for, despite the fact that IG won and they lost. They still have teams like RA and AL. But now we gotta be a bit wishy-washy. Who knows where TS is a favorite or not?
I mean, that's the thing. Is like, as much as I'm now hyping up WE and kind of saying, look, against LNG and against EDG, I actually would probably say that they should be coming out on top. Maybe the LNG is a lot more closer than I think, but in current form, I'm definitely leaning a little bit more towards WE. But for top esports, again, similar issues we're seeing from Spring. Similar setups where it's like they come in, they're not quite really all on the same page. Even that last engage there was just very disconnected. They're going in for a 1v1 top side, but then also defending the dragon. It's like, just, you had so much pressure just pushing the lanes and then TP the Gnar down. Like, that's where your fight kind of begins. But it does feel like they're doubting themselves. They're doubting their abilities, and they're just not coming out of it, especially after Xi'an had gotten them back-to-back smite secures to keep them in the game, and they just kind of felt like they threw it away.
It's one of those things where, like, I feel like TS are really suffering off of just not being able to come in, kind of draft in a way where they can, like, hard win out through certain lanes and then allow TN to just heavily invade around that. Because, again, I feel like not only for TS as a whole, but, like, TN throughout his career, sure, on FPX it might not have been as much about winning the lane, but Doinby really roaming and enabling TN to get in the enemy jungler's face and obviously then transition that down to, like, the famous FPX spot lane dives. See
that little sliver of red right after the big blue mountain, the big blue tidal wave? That's LPL, baby.
Though, this gold lead was such a lie. This is the biggest lie of a gold difference. If you are just tuning in now, WE controlled this whole game. WE were always the team in the driver's seat. Top Esports couldn't do anything. And WE didn't want anything to happen. Anytime an engage came through, oh, Poppy ults them away. Oh, Azir ults them away. Oh, Janna knocks them away. And it was just them biding their time as they stacked up dragons, and then they won. It was, again, they really are just, I don't even know what to, they need a nickname machine. They need something creative, and I'm not creative, but they're slow, they're methodical, they're
I like how you say you're not creative, yet you make music on a regular basis. Like, you send me like, hey, this is my anime intro I'm gonna make someday, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, you just created this, and he calls himself not creative.
Right now, I'm working on Caribbean folk deathcore, which is